Hi, everyone. We're just going to get in because we've been chatting for way too long and we need to let this roll because our very, very favorite girl is here.
Our
We're
good friend.
So excited that we can't even shut up and start. So,
hi, I'm Cynthia.
I'm Crystal. This is Humble Brag.
Humble brag.
Humble Brag.
Oh, I have tea.
Once a housewife,
always a housewife. Can we say that again for the people in the back?
Humble Brag.
Humble brag. Brag with us.
We're going to start right now. We're here with Dorinda Medley. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Dorinda.
I wouldn't miss it. I finished my reunion and I ran right over.
How was it?
You're a good friend.
Be specific. Traitors reunion.
Traitors reunion.
You just finished it just now, and you came to hang out with us at Humble Brag.
I took off the big long eyelashes, so I still have a little makeup. Threw on some,
your hair looks fabulous.
Cashy clothes. Well, I took all the extensions out.
Do people tell you look like Princess Diana?
All the time.
Okay.
You do.
You really
my
now
goodness.
for this.
All the time.
It's really
It's
And
true.
want to hear something that is really, I swear to God, this is true. I got a message the other day from someone that said they want to, so Princess Diana's brother, what's his name again?
him.
Lord Althorp.
Okay.
They said, he's coming to New York. Would you like to meet him for a drink? And I thought, well, wouldn't that be an
Well, why
ironic
not,
end to my
right?
long story in life? Then I go back to London and not that that's going to happen.
Well, no, because
But one could hope.
Or the pastor who you're just talking
Oh
about.
my
It's
God, we were
serious.
talking about podcasts and what I said, I can't really do a podcast because I'm on Sirius XM. And I was saying the reason I love going to Sirius XM is you never know. I can
true.
walk there on a Tuesday afternoon at 3:00. I have no idea who's
you
going
may
to be
Yeah.
in the bubble room or sitting in the hallway because it's like lost in time a little bit. It hasn't quite caught up with time, this Sirius XM.
But kind of in the best way,
In
right?
the best way.
Yeah.
Radio is such a unique platform, right? And it kind of, I think, attracts very unique people, right?
Agree.
So I was saying I'm a big lover of Pastor Mike Jr., who is so good looking, but more importantly, he's a
I
great
believe
pastor.
the word you used earlier was hot. Okay,
But I love him because of what he speaks about. Okay, I love him for what he speaks about.
We're like,
Now the cameras turned on and we're calling you out.
I came in and I look in sort of the they call it the fishbowl, and I say, "Is that Pastor Mike in there?" And they said, "Yes." And oh my God, he's so good looking.
So what about him that makes him so popular? Because you were saying that he can attract
Up to 36,000 people in one of his
per
sermons. Yeah. Now a lot of them are virtual, but he just has.
That's a
He's
lot.
inspirational, aspirational. He sings. He has these beautiful.
He sings?
Yeah, he does a whole thing.
Yeah, that's fabulous.
Wow.
I mean, he did. Look him up.
He's hot.
Oh God.
He preaches.
I can
and he
become
sings.
religious.
I was saying a guy like Annie's married.
It's like, when is the baptismal?
And I said to Cynthia, the great thing about that guy, he can bless you by day, he can bless you by day and bless you by night.
Listen, lay those hands on me.
So
whoa.
this was the best part. So I'm like, oh my God. So of course, because no one ever knows who I admire and who I like, and they can't figure out why I do. So
Well,
I
that's
say
a
to
great question.
I say to my producer, "Is that Pastor Mike?" He goes, "What?" I said, "I love him." And as I'm going over to the window and pressing my face against it, he waved to me, and I literally felt my heart jump a bit.
Oh, that's so
sweet.
cute.
I
Oh,
literally
sweet
felt
crush.
my heart. I have a picture of him.
I love that.
So we're assuming that
Which
you
I'm
are
printing out in a
s-
10 by 12
You're
and
like-
putting it above my
I
bed.
was like,
Yeah.
it's above your headboard.
With all that said, you are clearly single. I would
I am
think.
single for a long time
single
now.
and dating.
Dating a little bit, yes.
Okay.
How are you meeting people? Are you on a dating app? Are you just
I'm not. I've been I tried to join Raya like 3 years ago, and they've had me on a wait list ever since.
Stop.
They let every single
You're on a wait
solitary
list?
person on except me. Like literally, my niece was like, "I joined Raya." I'm like, "What?" And they, yes, it
I
must
think
be.
it's lost in it because they would put you on. That doesn't make any sense.
That is
I
crazy.
know.
If someone else shared something like that with me, but here's the thing with Raya, and shout out to Raya because I was on it for a really long time. Either you can get on it and just not really meet that many great
really?
people, or you just can't get on it. For me, I've met some cool people on there, but I didn't meet my person on there. But it's cool. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to get on there.
Well, I'm over that. I mean, I think that knows I'm not on a dating app. I think I have a lot of great friends who have a lot of great friends. I kind of do it
Yeah.
old school.
Yeah. That's the best way.
You feel
you-
like an easy hookup.
Yeah.
Well,
Crystal knows everybody. She could hook you up in 2 seconds.
I was at a party last night.
I already told her that to start hooking me up.
This is the woman. This is Madam. This is Madam Crystal.
I know you wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I really don't. I was at like an Oscar event last night, and I know this woman, and she brought her friend over, and she's like, and Rob and I were together, and she's like, okay, so I know you guys know everybody. Like, this is my friend, and she has 3 kids, and she's just standing there like I'm like a matchmaker, and she's like, so she's looking for between 48 and 52. Like, she gave me the whole list. I'm like, what's your name? I don't even know your name. But then Rob is like, I know exactly who I'm going to match. I'm like, yeah, that's it.
Well, the good news about me is I'm free, so I can do and go wherever I want.
Do you like dating? Is it fun or stressful?
I like people.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't look at dating as anything other than going to meet a new person.
Okay.
Do you have a type?
Yes.
Oh.
I do have a type.
Do tell.
I like people that are a little gritty.
Gritty.
I like a big man.
A big man.
Yeah, I don't mind a beard.
Man. A beard?
Oh, like a man.
Oh,
yeah,
beard's like a long beard? A long beard or like a short groom beard?
Little facial hair. I mean, I don't have to have it, but I like a man. I'm not like a person. People always try to set me up because I live on the Upper East Side and I live in a certain world. They forget that I come from a solid Polish, Italian, ethnic background that grew up with very strong men.
Right.
I mean, my grandfather was like Adorno Magadini, you know, and he was like a strong Italian guy. And my father, you know, is Polish. So these are strong men. So I don't do well with like that typical Upper East Side guy. Not that they're not great, but it just...
That's not your style.
It's not my style.
Right. So you're meeting people through your friends.
Yes. And I like someone with a good sense of humor.
No, you have to.
I
agree.
You have to be sort of self-deprecating. Don't try to sell me on anything.
Yeah.
Don't try to do the crazy sex talk with me. That is a killer. I hate it.
What is that?
I don't like when you go on first dates and they're like, doing this and trying to talk about their sex life. That puts me off. I've had a lot of that.
Really?
Yes.
They talk about their sex life?
I had, people that would be like,
Can you
know
give us
what?
an example?
Oh, okay.
A story?
I went out one day. One guy said, you know what? I like older women, and I feel like older women know what they're doing in bed and they know what they want.
Ew,
that kind of stuff.
That's gross.
I was like, how do you know that?
Well, what a dumb thing to say.
So after that, and then he apologized, but just he kind of led with it, and it just is not my thing. Like, if you make me laugh and you make me feel comfortable, I'll go to bed with you immediately.
You will laugh your way into those panties.
Like my bras off at the table.
No, I love that. Make me laugh my way into the panties. Yeah, absolutely.
Laugh my way into because I believe that at the end of the day, really, it's just about having fun.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable.
But it is an energy exchange.
It's an energy exchange.
For sure.
You have to feel safe and comfortable. And I know a lot of women say they don't, and I just don't do that. I think a woman that feels safe and comfortable with a man, they will get the best of any woman.
Right. I love that.
That's
good advice.
Yes.
That's what I think.
I think when it comes to that, because before, I've been dating for like 11 months. I mean, I've been in an exclusive relationship for 11 months.
You
now.
have?
I have, but it's been very like off of social media.
Yeah, very low key.
Okay. But in any case, when I was dating, I felt like, the whole like dating thing was like, it was fun and then it wasn't fun. And then it was like, what am I doing? And it was just like, let me just focus on work. But I feel like as long as you have the power to just decide how you want to date, whether it's like if you want to be intimate, if you just want to have dinner, if you just want whatever it is you want to do, I think that's where it's at. That was because you have I feel like I had to have control because like it was really I wasn't meeting like guys that made me feel good,
comfortable and safe.
Yeah, like they weren't consistent.
No.
Like they would call and be like, yeah, you're great, and then I wouldn't hear from them for
and
3
I
days.
also, too,
like all of that stuff
at the
fucks
end of
with
the
you
day,
after a while.
I'm just very old school, and it's too late to
old
change
school.
that.
Respect to the old school.
Yeah, I got married, at a young age. I've had 2 very great husbands.
Yes.
One unfortunate, or one I divorced, Hannah's father, who I'm still very close to, but seriously, if I had to do it over again, I'd marry him again. Not now, but at that time, he's been, was and is a great choice for my life.
Yes.
He's a great father to Hannah. And of course, Richard, who I lost 13 years ago. So I don't have these nightmare stories about men. Probably because I've been married a big part of my life.
Right.
Yeah, and you're old school. It's like if you like me, you better call me and just act like you like me. And if you don't like me, just leave me alone.
And also, too, I'm not someone that needs a lot of, I've never been a person that needs a lot of like I'm not a lot of work.
Yeah.
Like I'm very
You're
independent.
easy.
Yeah,
No,
you're
not
very easy.
But
So,
like,
so if you're nice and you're considerate and you're consistent, you pretty much got it.
Right.
You know?
I mean, it's not that hard.
No, I hear a lot of horror stories. I've been with Rob for 22 years.
So you're the same way. So you.
I mean, I was a kid. I was 20 years old, and
It'd be very
so-
hard for you to go out now and meet someone because
yeah.
you've been in this loving, consistent.
right. But it was our old school.
Yes. It's
So
old
like
school.
when I met
love
Rob,
that.
even though I'm like relatively young, there wasn't dating apps. There was no social media. I met him still very much like where I met him at a party, and my friend knew the person at the party, and it was like so simple, and it was dating. Like, is he gonna call me? It was like very like I don't know how people do it now, because then I just probably would check out.
Well, you do. I mean, I did do it a little bit. I thought, well, I'm going to go out there and put myself out there. So I started to put myself out there and try to be that sort of more hip, I don't care, casual person.
So how did you put yourself out there? Like, where did you go?
you know?
Like, where do we go at
Here's
this
the
age?
thing: New York is a very unique place. Period.
Very true.
But New York is a very unique place because New York is filled with pedestrians and we all know each other.
Right.
And New York, at any one point, you can go to a restaurant, a party, you always run into people.
It's true.
It's very much, it's not like LA where you walk into restaurants and you don't know anybody.
True.
It's just a small island where we all know each other. I always say it's a little bit like post-college that never ended.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Like
yeah,
very
New York is
neighborhoody.
such a vibe.
Yeah.
So, you always have people and parties and things you're going to. So we're always mixing with each other.
Yeah, it's true.
And, people just meet each other, weddings, parties.
And everyone's walking around. Like
On
I
the
feel like
street.
people are like, I feel like New York is the only
Whole
place.
Foods.
Like I'm a
Yeah.
lover of love, and I love like love stories. Like when I think of like a love story, I think of New York, like walking down the street, going into a building, going into an elevator, and like literally some great guy's in there, and he's like, I drop something on the floor, he picks it up, and we look into each other's eyes, and we're in
very
love.
romantic.
But I'll tell you
3
something,
children
Cynthia.
later.
Yeah,
Like
but I'll
that's
tell
where it happens
I'll
in
tell
New
you
York.
the thing about New York why that could be true. Because we are so used to interacting. We're a verbally interactive city.
True.
We're constantly we're talking to each other when we wake up in the morning.
Right.
As Hannah says, I wake up in the morning with my mouth moving. And that may be a generational thing because we didn't have phones and stuff. So the only way to move forward in life was to talk your way into it.
Right.
And New Yorkers are always talking to each other. You're talking to
True.
the hot dog, you're talking to the news guy, you're talking to this, you're talking to the subway guy, you're talking to the
Yeah.
dog walker,
Yeah.
you're talking to everyone
You're
on
always
the street.
talking. You're
As
moving and talking.
Hannah said to me recently, because she came to visit me, she came home to visit, and we got off the subway on 86th Street because as New Yorkers, a good New Yorker always
So you
takes
still take the subway?
It's the only way to travel.
I know. All right, parents, let's be real. Getting kids to eat healthy? Not easy. I've tried everything. Hiding spinach in smoothies, sneaking veggies into pasta. None of it worked.
Oh, I feel that. And don't even get me started on kid supplements. One has greens but no probiotics. Another has vitamins but tastes awful. It's always missing something.
That's why I'm so excited to introduce you to Beam Kids All-in-One Super Powder. It just launched and you need to get your hands on it today. It has more than 40 essential ingredients to fuel healthy growth, including greens, pre and probiotics, fruits, and vitamins. And what's even better, it comes in a chocolate milk flavor kids love.
And it's pediatrician formulated, so you can trust it. Plus, Olympic gold medalist and mom, Shawn Johnson, co-created it because she wanted something parents could feel confident about giving their kids.
And my picky eater, the one who acts like broccoli is a personal attack, she's asking for seconds of her chocolate milk. I mean, what?
I love that. And listen to this. Beam Kids has 87.5% less sugar than most common low-sugar gummies and 13 times the vitamins of other kid supplements. It's the perfect mix of healthy for kids, stress-free for parents.
And it's so easy to add to your routine. Simply mix 1 scoop of Beam Kids with 8 ounces of water or milk. Shake, stir, or froth, and enjoy, making it a convenient addition to any meal or drink.
Beam Kids is now available online at shopbeam.com/humble. Because you're a listener to our show, you can take advantage of their limited time pricing of up to 35% off plus 2 free gifts using code HUMBLE.
Get your Beam Kids and your free gifts by heading over to shopbeam.com/humble. Enter the code HUMBLE. That's shopbeam.com/humble and use the code HUMBLE for up to 35% off. The Great Rewards hunt is on, so join the adventure with DraftKings Casino. For fun seekers, follow the trail to huge jackpots weekly bonuses, and exclusive games.
Plus, new players can get their losses back up to $1,000 in casino credits on their first day. Just sign up with code HUMBLE and start playing to get up to $1,000 in casino credits back with a minimum $5 net loss. Only on DraftKings Casino. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus.
Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. Eligibility restrictions apply. New customers only. Loss back for 24 hours up to $1,000 in non-withdrawable casino credits that expire in 168 hours. Terms at casino.draftkings.com/promos.
You know, finding a therapist shouldn't be as stressful as the stuff that makes you need therapy in the first place. But let's be honest, it can feel impossible. I remember when I first tried looking for one, wait list, out-of-pocket cost, and just trying to find someone I clicked with. Total nightmare.
Right? That's why I love what Rula is doing. They take all the stress out of the process by connecting you with high-quality, vetted mental health professionals that fit your needs and take your insurance. Instead of paying hundreds out of pocket, you could pay as little as $15 per session.
And Rula doesn't just match you with a therapist and leave you hanging. They support you every step of the way, from booking your first session to tracking your progress, even dealing with insurance. They handle it all.
Getting started is so easy. Just answer a few quick questions about what you're looking for, and Rula will match you with in-network providers who fit your criteria. You can book your first session as soon as the next day.
Thousands have already trusted Rula to support them on their journey toward improved mental health and overall well-being. Head on over to rula.com/humble to get started today.
After you sign up, they ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them our show sent you. Go to rula.com/humble and take the first step towards better mental health today. You deserve quality care from someone who cares.
True New Yorker.
I mean, it's not a money thing.
It's funny. I always took the subway, and then people recently told me to
I don't
not.
take it at night.
Okay.
And I
Well, I never took it at night, even
And
before I was
take-
on TV.
I'm on the Upper East Side, so I'm on the 6th line, and
Yeah.
you know it's very
Do you
straightforward.
get recognized a lot in New York?
Yeah, but you know, New Yorkers again are just we've got such whack jobs in New York.
Yeah, but New Yorkers love housewives.
And they love housewives, but they're used to us.
But they don't
Right,
really
right,
They're not
say
like
anything
come up.
to
They're
us.
like, "Hey, Dorinda, what's up?" You know, that kind of stuff.
When I
I'm
was
like,
there, a lot of people came up to me.
Yeah.
But they're so nice.
Really?
A lot. Like on the street, because you're just out and about.
You're out, yeah.
And I was like, love you, Crystal. Like,
that
they're
kind of
really
thing.
nice.
But they don't like bother you.
No,
bother you.
no. But someone had said what they love about New York is like, no, you can have on the same corner someone that like is like in an apartment with 5 roommates, all while living next to a billionaire. And then
Correct.
once you go down the
Absolutely.
street, everybody's the same. You have no clue. And like that's what makes New York run.
Well, yes, I remember one time I saw Bluebird. Got on the subway years and years ago, and Bluebird was standing by me on the subway, and I was
That's
like, "You
so
take the
New
subway?"
York.
He goes, "Well, why wouldn't I?"
Yeah.
And that's the right answer.
I love
It's
that.
true.
Like, right? Why wouldn't you? It takes you 5. It's not even a money thing. It's a time thing.
Yeah, it's true.
You know,
But
we're
I will
all
say
about our
this.
time.
So I was, we were asking me about Watch What Happens when I was there this last couple days. And the one thing I did not love was, okay, I'm from LA. We have bad traffic. The New York traffic is crazy.
You think so?
Oh, it took me like 30, maybe this was like a terrible time, but it took me 30 minutes to go like 15 blocks.
Where were you staying?
I was at the Langham.
The Lamb. So that is on
like
like
it's like
440.
50
yeah,
yeah.
but you had
40s,
to. That's
50s.
because you don't understand. You had to go cross town because Watch What Happens lies way over
All the
on
way
the west
downtown.
side.
No, but I was going north.
You're
So-
not going north.
No,
if
you're
you're
going
at
No,
the
somewhere
Lamb.
else. I wasn't going to
Oh.
Watch What Happens. I was
going-
doing press.
Ah,
And I was like,
yes.
whoa, like you guys live on a small
Well-
island, but yet it feels like so big and everything. It's like, that's why I'm like, oh, it takes so long. So you never feel like bored here because
Yeah.
I'm like, but like,
Never.
half a mile for me is next to my next door neighbor's house.
Yes. Well, that's. Yeah, I don't. I don't.
You just never get bored there.
Yeah, you
Every
never get-
corner's new.
No, it's not possible.
Every corner's new, and you just feel like you can, always talk your way in or out of any situation. you're in.
Yeah.
But
it
there
was-
is no in New York. I said to someone the other day, they're like, we can't get into the. I said, oh, we'll get in. Don't worry, just show up. What are they going to do? They'll say
It's
no.
true.
We'll bag a little bit.
Like,
we'll give them
honestly,
$100 and then we'll slip in.
Like,
and then that's it.
when they say if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere.
It's kind of
Like,
true, but
I moved there when I was 18, and I felt like it made me invincible.
It
like
does.
I could, like, I felt really confident traveling the world. Like, I just felt like I lived in New York for all this time.
and you
I can
miss
figure it
It's
out.
funny. I think once you live in New York, you can hate it. Like there's mornings I wake up and like someone the other day was yelling at someone, and of course then I yelled at them, and it was all 6:30 in the morning. And I'm thinking, I hate this place. I want to get you. I'm sick of it. But then I leave,
Yeah.
and I'll come back a week later, and you
You're
go
like,
over that
"Oh,
bridge, and I think,
I miss
You love it. Aw,
Yeah.
that's so great.
yeah, it's in my. The only other place I could move back to is London. I lived in London 10
Really?
years. Yes, and I think because I lived there such formative years,
Mhm.
like 25
Yeah.
to 35. That, I kind of, every time I go back, it's the same thing. I could slip back in. So I could see myself eventually going, if Hannah, after she graduates and she teaches in London, let's say she did that, I would probably go back.
I would say that would be the only place I could possibly live.
Really?
Yeah, is London.
It's such a great city.
It is. It is. It's very New York to me, but
Yes,
also
but more
livable.
But,
Yeah.
but a little more like user friendly and
Is used-
gentle.
yeah. Yeah, it's more user friendly. I love London. Okay, so you just came here
I
from a
did.
very, very big event
Some Traitors reunion.
in which we're so
Oh, I
honored
have
that
so
you
many
even. I'm like, there's no
questions.
way
Where I
Dorinda's
got
coming.
murdered first, so my
Okay,
participation
let's talk about that.
wasn't so huge in the reunion, but I went there with bells on and enthusiasm, as you must.
We have a million
Dorinda,
questions.
Why do you think they got you out like right away?
I think because as I said today, it was a good idea. They took out a bunch of the housewives. I think it's
Yeah.
because they, wouldn't you take me out if you were a traitor?
Well, I get that they would assume that at least one housewife is one, so they're just going to
Also, too,
nail
they
you
don't
guys.
want to get rid of. They don't want to keep anyone that's a big character or a strong character.
Well, let's just be clear. How many housewives have actually been a traitor other than Phaedra?
So Phaedra was the first. Phaedra's the one that broke the real.
Oh, like
Right.
all caps.
I mean,
Yeah.
she really
Killed it.
But Phaedra turned it in from a little show to
To
like
a big show.
yes,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, we love Phaedra, so of course we're
1000%.
biased. But she really did put it on the map as far
She
as
really
I'm
did.
concerned. Like I'm not saying anything bad, but when they handed that Emmy over, I think they should have handed it to Phaedra. I'm just
Oh.
saying.
Yeah. No. She.
I'm just
You know what?
saying.
You're giving her flowers.
I
Yeah.
was hooked, and I love when women give other women their flowers.
You know-
and Phaedra definitely,
Yes.
1000%.
I mean, I
She
never.
got me to watch
I
Traitors
never
for
watched
sure.
it, and when she was on after that, I
I
was
was
like, okay,
obsessed.
I'm obsessed.
Obsessed.
Okay, so
And-
my question. So you were saying like big characters. When you enter, right? From what I understand, you don't know who's on the show, whatever. Like we just eat pizza on here. We don't give a shit.
Sorry.
So my question is more is like big characters. That's your sense, no? Like you walk on there and does everyone feel like who's big? Like do you automatically know?
The interesting thing about Traitors, which is how it's evolved, I think, and I think it started off in the UK as a very small show with just people they kind of found on the street. I
thanks.
mean, really just normal,
Of like,
everyday
yeah.
people. And I think it was the production of it was much more sort of a British production.
Would you like pizza?
No, thank you. I'm
Okay,
good.
we're bringing New
We're
York
like
to you.
starving.
Yeah, I love that. And
Right. So when it became like celebrity
so
here,
I think when it came to the US and NBC got involved, they kind of upped the game. So now you have a real mad mix of like, gamers and Big
Mhm.
Brother
Mhm.
and housewives. And once Phaedra came on and brought that sort of glamour and, one-liners and
She played a
what
hell of
she
a game.
does, yes. I think it really changed it up. It's interesting because there's the gamers, there's the Big Brother people, there's the housewives. It's like you're in a zoo.
right,
And
right,
we all
right.
know who's who. And each sector, they're very different.
Right.
Like I never watched Survivor before.
But when you go there, you find out immediately who does what
You don't
shows.
know until because they kind of like you when you meet and greet. I was very bad because I don't watch any of those shows.
Mhm.
But then people were like, "Hi, I'm from," and I thought it was great because they added people like Sam, Britney Spears' ex. They had added Dylan Afron, who's
Right.
so it did. They were starting to expand it and make it more interesting. These characters, right? I think, and I don't. It's just my opinion, as Tamara would say. I think that there is no matter where we go as housewives, there's a preconception about us.
Sure.
But I don't understand why they want to take us out first. Like, I don't feel like we're that big of a threat in that house.
I don't think it's a threat. I just think you're a big character. So,
Right.
we may seem, you definitely feel like when you walk in as a housewife in the group that you're a little more noticed.
Right.
Than like
right.
so-and-so from Survivor who ate, 475
Right.
snails. And
Mhm.
Did you have a
Yeah.
strategy going in?
I had too much of a strategy. I think that, I've said this in podcasts before. I prepared like an animal. I
You
prepared like
did?
I was getting my PhD.
Okay.
I read Art of War twice.
See, I would prepare like that.
I
too.
read Rumi. I read Nietzsche.
Wow.
Hannah wrote me a whole dissertation. We would go through talks, because Hannah's very strategic like that. I had a wardrobe like you wouldn't believe. Like I had
Well, that's the
out.
devastating part because
Oh my
that's why we
God.
want the housewives on for also the
I
looks.
broke out because in my days when I lived in London, you got to remember my first husband is Scottish.
Right. Wow.
So, Hannah's
Oh,
house.
you were ready.
So yes,
You were locked and
I'd
loaded.
actually been to Inverness
oh, really?
many times. Yeah, because we would go to Scotland every weekend. Now we used to go more to like Mogai and outside of Glasgow.
Mhm.
But for me, it was a full circle revisit.
Mhm.
And you got to remember, I lived in London I moved there the beginning of 91 and 90, right when John Major got in. So it was very post Margaret
Mhm.
Thatcher, beginning of the Labour Party, very different city and very different Britain back then. But you got to remember, that was the year when, those were the years when Alexander McQueen would literally sell at little
Mhm.
side stores. So you would go to a side store and Alexander McQueen would be selling his 20 pieces
Wow.
there.
Wow.
You would
What an
go
era.
you could go to Alaya in Paris
Mhm.
and go to walk up those stairs,
Mhm.
those 5-6 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And I got pregnant with Hannah and went to Alaya. So, because at that time he was doing a lot of suede.
Mhm.
Remember when he was doing the suede era, that
Mhm.
very thin suede?
Oh yeah.
That's what I wore the whole time. So I had all that out, what's her name? Vivian Westwood was 5 minutes walk from my house with the, backwards clock, and you'd walk in and she'd be sitting there.
Wow.
So I had collected over the years all these beautiful, and then when I went to Scotland, I, would have.
And
all
you were
kinds-
planning on wearing all those things?
I had them all. I was like,
Oh,
and I
that's
even fit into some of
heartbreaking.
them. Some of them I didn't, but I made them fit.
Okay, I feel like they have to let you come back because I
Or
just
do
want to. I'm
something
here for the
else, like-
outfits at this point.
Yes. So my clothes were really good. I mean, I had some really great original. Remember when Louis Vuitton first used to do all those ruffle shirts?
Oh my gosh.
Which I barely wore, but I knocked those out
Wow.
because I archived my clothes.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
So
you
did
must, I feel like you've lived 100 lives.
I think I have lived 100 lives, but I'm almost 100 years old. So that makes
I was
sense.
wondering about the whole wardrobe thing because I noticed everyone looked like suspiciously Scottish, like kind of.
Oh, yeah.
vibes.
Do they want
Like,
you
did
to
they
kind
tell
of.
you to like look like that kind of vibe? Because I was like,
Well,
wait a minute.
I think it's just sort of a given because you're going to Scotland and you're living in a castle. And, Alan has now set such a precedent of, his,
He's unbelievable.
it really is epic. the
Yeah,
way he
he's very
dresses.
special.
So I think, and I, again, not to throw it back to Phaedra, but I think she got to raise the bar of how people dress.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And it's very interesting because it really is sort of the housewives that dress. And then now you see a lot of the Big Brother girls. Like this season, we saw a lot of beautiful clothes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was very high fashion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it.
Did you feel blindsided by it?
I was heartbroken.
You were.
I wasn't blindsided. I was absolutely heartbroken.
Ugh.
Because A, I was really prepared. B, I was excited. And C, I really think I'd be great at it.
Mhm.
Right.
Which is why they probably were like,
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I mean, they've said it. They've said, they wanted, and
So the strategy really, I guess, is not then to try to find the traitor. Sometimes it's about who's like going to be good at the game.
You know what? It's so interesting because after watching a big part of it, you realize that sometimes, which I'm not great at, but you can learn from it. And maybe, who knows? Because it's all a game of chance. Because sometimes you see people that, like Ivor, who's one of the,
Mhm.
he's barely talking at all, but
Right.
he's still in the game. So is that the strategy? You don't
Mhm.
talk at
But
all.
was he barely talking in real life, or was that edited?
No, he really.
Oh, he's
didn't-
very quiet.
Yeah, he didn't have.
So he's just super under the
he's
radar.
quiet. He just had, he wasn't engaged in
Right.
that way.
Right.
I mean, great guy, but he was very careful about not over. So is that the way you go? But then you don't
Mhm.
want to be like someone that's not involved. So it really is, I think, a game of chance, like they tell you.
Yeah.
And I think it really is dependent. I think the cast this year was a very different cast than last year.
Mhm.
It was. It was.
And I finally got to meet Rob,
Mm.
Oh.
Boston Rob, who I didn't meet
Yes.
him because I was
He was
killed
at the-
before
Right.
he came on. Boston Rob is very good looking.
Really?
Yes, and they showed some pictures of Boston Rob when he was young. He was
I can see that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Google Boston Rob as a young guy.
All right.
Yeah, Boston Rob
He's
has
not
a
a bad looking guy
No,
at
he's
all.
not.
Boston Rob has a
Mhm.
twinkle in his eye.
By the way, one of the searches, Boston Rob Young.
Oh, it is?
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, God.
There's a lot of good. Oh, no, I think what's his name is really hot.
Who?
The on the show. He stayed very long.
Oh.
The brother, he's on the show, on your cast.
Dylan.
What is it, Dylan?
Oh, I know, but she's like 5.5 years old.
Oh, he's like a baby.
Looks
Be
like I
my
can breastfeed
son.
him.
Oh my God, he's adorable.
Okay, so I know you
Yes,
know.
that's Boston.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Oh, Boston.
He's cute.
Rob? Okay, so
Okay,
Dorinda,
Rob.
who did you, I know you know who probably won at this point. So who did you think was going to win? Are you surprised at who did win? And did you like watching it now with us? Like, are you like surprised at who
Yeah,
lasted as long as they did?
yes, I'm
Like,
very surprised at who lasted. I would have never guessed in the beginning. And I don't think,
Did you know that Danielle was a traitor? Were you on there long enough to even suspect that? Like no one seemed to have like suspected her.
I mean, she to me read like a traitor, I
Mhm.
think, because she kind of has that.
Like us watching, I was like,
but I don't
focus
think,
on
It
Danielle.
was funny. You just don't know. Like, and when you're in it, it's
I
such a
bet,
different
yeah, you
thing than
completely have no
watching it,
idea.
right?
Mhm.
I had no idea, and I have no idea, until the end. It's just a game of chance,
Yeah.
and it depends on who you rub wrong and makes the decision. I do think watching it now and watching this Boston Rob play, I mean, he's brilliant.
Yeah,
He's
he's
good.
brilliant. Yeah.
I mean, I told him,
He's
you
good.
should write a book on
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good.
strategy.
He's brilliant. He's great to watch. Is this the only show you've done outside of Housewives?
Besides, yeah, I've only done Housewives and Ultimate Girls Trip.
Right.
I've never done a competition show, but I like it.
Yeah, it's fun, right?
And it's very interesting to see how different we're so used to a specific production style on
Yeah.
Housewives, right? And it was very interesting to see the different kind of way that they produce and do stuff. I mean, I kind of felt that way too when they did Ultimate Girls Trip because Peacock did it.
yeah.
And it was totally different than how they filmed Bravo and stuff.
But still,
Mhm.
that's still like a housewife show.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yes.
this is totally.
It's not like Traitors.
Totally different. But it's an incredible experience. And, I think that's why I always say to people, come from a place of yes.
Mm.
Like, just go
Just
do
do
it.
it.
The worst that can happen is it doesn't work out.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
and most of the time, you take something great from it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We were just talking to Denise Richards, and she did Special Forces. Would you do a show like that?
They asked me to do Special Forces.
Oh.
Did you do it? Are you
I
sure?
didn't. I ended up not doing it.
Why?
I just had come back from Ultimate Girls Trip, and it was just too rigorous and too,
She said that's why she took
Mhm.
it, but she said it was
I mean,
really hard.
scary rigorous.
Mhm.
scary. I don't know if I could.
And at this point, do I need to come back with a broken bone or you know what I mean?
Well, you know what happened to her, right?
No.
She popped her implant.
Oh no,
Both.
I can't be
Both.
popping an implant.
They- is that crazy?
no, that's well, yes.
Yeah. So she was like, I think something happened. But then she told us a story here that once you call the medic, you have to leave the show. So she's like, I need, to find. And but yeah, both of her implants
Mhm.
popped within 2 days. She said that's how bad it was, how hard the show was.
But is that even healthy?
Healthy? I don't think that's healthy.
No, but
No.
did she let it sit in her body?
No, it was she.
Oh, she called the medic?
Yeah, she called the medic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought you
Yes,
said she
but they didn't know once you call the medic, no matter what happens,
Right, you're out
if
of
you're
the
good
show.
or not, you have
Uh-huh.
to leave. So she ultimately had to make that decision.
Listen, I had my verbal evaluation with one of the sergeants, and I was scared to death just getting off the phone. I was like, that's just like, there was because they're really like army people.
What?
Mhm.
Yes, she said it was really.
I'm surprised she did it.
You know,
How long did she last?
2 episodes,
she left right away.
but they did a lot. They do a lot in the first episode. Like she had to jump out of a helicopter.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they do crazy stuff like tip a car off a cliff, put you in a. No, I mean,
Mm-mm.
I can't be doing all that.
Traders is enough. Just
Yeah,
high fashion.
Traitors is fine. They do stuff, but it's more like doable. I mean, I'm athletic, but I don't want to do stuff that's scary.
Yeah,
Tom Sandoval did it, and I think he did. He said it was very. Obviously, he was going through that whole thing with Sandoval, and I think he said it was very healing for him.
Oh, that's good.
I'm
Because
enjoying
he-
him on the Traitors. I think he's fun.
He
Yeah.
seems. I thought people were annoyed with him on the Traders. They seem like
He
he's
doesn't bother
annoying.
me. I think he's fun.
He's fine for me, but it sounded like some of the girls. were
I
annoyed.
got to be honest with you. I think Traitors really helped him kind of have a bit of a renewal,
I
Mhm.
agree.
and kind of like
Yeah.
people-
Same with Phaedra, to be
Yeah.
honest. Mhm.
Yes.
Phaedra was such a
Mhm.
star on that show. My
Oh, forget it.
God.
Killed it.
But Chanel told me all these stories. I was in Paris a couple weeks ago for Fashion Week. I've never been. It was my first time, and
Oh,
it was
wow.
with Chanel. As in, she was telling me the story about how she said it 100 times, everybody, but that she thought Survivor.
Yeah, she was telling me that today.
That is so funny.
Chanel.
I mean, that is
Hilarious.
such a Chanel thing. Like she had no idea what the show was.
What shows did you see in Paris, more importantly?
Okay, so I went with my girlfriend who's part of Vogue 100.
Oh, wow.
So
Is that, I mean, to go to a fashion show in Paris is another level.
yes,
Because they still take it very, very seriously.
it's very serious.
Yeah.
And if you ask me the names, I won't know because it was couture. But the first one I went to was like, you go in and they have the whole display. And I thought it was just sort of a showcase. And then they kind of escort you to this like long table like dinner. I was like, oh, it's a dinner. And then they had this whole performance fashion show.
It's crazy that people are still invested. And these are outfits where people are spending 40,
oh,
50,
yes.
60,
Yes.
80, 100. Literally, what you realize is people are still spending money and the amount of wealth, the disposable income.
It's crazy.
Right?
I know my girlfriend's like, that. I'm like, are you really going to buy that? I'm like, I was just happy to sit and like get a free meal.
Well,
But I'm like, wow, like fashion. Cause I've never been a fashion person. Like I dress very comfortably. And I actually really admire fashion people because I kind of want to be, but I really
oh my
don't know
God.
how.
Do you know who used to dress beautifully is when that reality show in LA was there about the Asian families, the very wealthy families.
Bling Empire?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
your
Bling
friend is
Empire.
on there.
Christine.
That woman had the most beautiful clothes
Christine's
I've
really into
ever
couture.
seen in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the type that would buy that stuff.
Yeah, she does. She goes to Couture Week. She's very serious about fashion.
But you can tell.
Yes.
Because it's curated from head to toe. And when you're curated like that, it's an art form.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
it
that's
is.
true.
Yeah, she's really. I saw her last night at that event I was at, and
They
it
should
was.
bring back Bling Empire. That was so good.
I know. I don't know
Mhm.
why. Well, I heard it was something about like behind. It was like unions something.
Oh, well, that was
Yeah.
a great show.
It was not them. I don't think it was anything like that. I think it was very much like a production problem. But we went to an event last night, an Oscar, kind of to support an Asian film, and they asked you to like wear like Asian inspired clothes, but like I just don't. I just wear something that was like red. She is. I know it's couture. She had this like cheapao, the Mandarin neck collar,
Yes, which I love.
and it's like this pale pink that's like an ombre, and it was like this giant train, and it was just like
Oh, wow.
a house party.
I love a train.
And I'm like, dude, like you look out of control. And she went with like this hair look that was like
But
the
does she
bank.
just have people that just do that on call all the time?
She has to have a stylist.
I don't know. I think she just buys. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
We'll bring her on,
I'll
Oscar.
tell you what. She's lucky. If A, she can buy it, but B, she has the right body for it. That's very when you
Oh, yeah.
that
are
helps.
built like she's
tiny.
She can
She's-
wear
So
anything.
all that stuff
Sample
sits.
size.
I think she's even smaller than that. She's tiny. I saw her in New York
She's
once.
very
She's
small. She's like a
skinny.
double
Wasn't
zero.
she at your party? Your dinner party? Your Christmas
Yeah.
party?
Yeah, she's
Yeah, I
like a
sat
double
next to
zero.
her.
Yeah, I put you next to her.
Yeah, she can like literally wear anything.
Yeah, she leans in so hard of the whole thing. Like you said, head to toe.
Yes,
The hair to the tips of it. It's like,
but I
she-
love that.
yes,
I mean, tell her that I'm a huge admirer of her.
I will.
work.
But Paris Fashion Week
you.
during Couture Week is so different than I thought. But what I liked about it was it felt like Oscar Week, where there's like parties everywhere. Like you just meet someone and you're like, you find somewhere to go.
Mhm.
And they're like, oh, the party's here. And then the party, and you're like, oh, we're going to meet up here. And you're like, okay, that's
And
very
it's
like,
the coolest, most beautiful
Mhm.
people.
oh my God. But like way cooler. I mean, I'm like dressing my like, fancy
Well,
Old
you really-
Navy, like whatever.
Like, don't you feel like after a couple of days, you're like, I don't want my clothes. I need to spend something. The problem is you start to think you can buy these clothes because you're around these people. You're like, oh yeah, sure, I'll spend
No.
4,000, 5,000 and 6,000 pounds on a sweater. Why not? They're spending it.
Yeah.
And
It's
then you
cra-
get home and you're like, what have I done? Because we don't dress like that in
No,
America.
no.
There's nowhere to wear this kind of stuff.
Especially in LA.
Yes.
LA is
yes.
so casual.
For me, I used to actually like, back in my modeling days, I did like all the Paris fashion weeks, Milan fashion weeks, all of those things. So I have a very different perspective, like, because I did all that stuff for so long. So all I want to do at this point in my life is just to look good and be comfortable.
That's
like,
it.
I don't want to be ever uncomfortable. I don't want an uncomfortable shoe. I don't want an uncomfortable dress. I don't care what it looks like. So
Yes, 'cause you're
I
the-
am officially not a fashion girl at this point. Like, I want to look good, but I'm not as invested. But I love when people are.
That's
'Cause
what I am.
Get it.
I don't want to do it
I love to
anymore,
watch it.
but
I'm just not that
I
person.
love
Yeah.
to see when a woman puts things together.
Yes, it's
beautifully.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, because the time to curate a look,
Is when
like,
you're young.
it's like,
Yes.
wow.
I know
like,
at the time.
But I saw
No.
a beautiful woman the other day, two girls walking down the street in the Upper East Side. They were young. They were in their early 30s, and they both had on like these pretty, like Oscar type eyeline dresses. And you could tell they were still very enthusiastic about life and
Yeah.
just coming from lunch.
About
and-
life.
They were in it.
And I
Totally
was
in
thinking,
it.
I remember being that joyful and wanting to dress up for lunch. Like, I would so much dress up for lunch now that I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
No,
Right?
but you're lucky you get out of bed to go. I
No,
know.
it's true. I think New York has the best style. Because what I love about New York is I know it's something great that these people are wearing half of the time, but I don't know what it is. But I love the way they put things together.
Street
And everyone
style.
has
They
like
have
really
great
great
street.
personal
Yeah.
style and street style. In New York, nobody can fuck with New York with that.
Well, I will say, and I tell Ryan this all the time, I cannot get past how sloppy LA is. I'm sorry, you
Girl.
well, I, look good. I dressed
not
up
you.
today.
You
No,
have
we
jeans
are.
on.
No, I'll tell you.
I mean, when I first started coming, I'd say to Ryan, why does everybody wear sweats? Like they all look like they rolled out of bed.
We
Like-
do wear sweats,
Yeah.
Dorinda,
A
because we are lazy. And it's like that's why we buy expensive sweatsuits because we're trying to elevate the suit. But I'll tell you, this is so not New York. Also, because we're in our car. We don't have to leave the house.
Well, I think that's a big part of it
There's
because
no
we
walking.
walk everywhere.
There's no
So
walking.
we don't
Yeah,
walk. So
yeah.
I don't actually get fully dressed until maybe 11 in the morning. And I have young
And
kids.
she takes naps.
Okay. Only
You
about
do.
my
You'll
time.
go home at like 2.
Oh, no, I rest.
You
I don't
rest.
nap. I rest.
She takes a break.
But I
Which I
only
love.
wear flannel pajamas and a robe. So that's like I wake up, I put my
you
robe on.
your lucky husband. Wow.
Yeah, no. You know
Well,
what?
How
He
to
knows
Keep
what
a Marriage Great by Crystal
Hey,
Minkoff.
he knows
How many
what
years
he
has
signed-
it been?
Yeah, 22 years. He knows what he
Listen,
signed up for. I
we
mean,
can learn from Crystal.
poor Rob, he looks at me
It's
with such,
working.
it's like, wah, but whatever. So I wake up in my red, Christmas flannel pajamas, even though it's, whatever, March. And then I put on my robe and I get the kids to school and they all see me. I have the top bun on my head
Yep.
and we wave at each other. And my girlfriend is next to me in the car in her robe with her sunglasses. And then we just do that and I get home. And then once I know I actually have to really leave the house is when I'll actually put clothes on. But let's say I go out for lunch. I'll come back and then I take my clothes off. I'll put back on the pajamas
They go back on.
until
Yeah.
I have to leave the house again.
Yeah.
Well, Crystal, I'm going to have to admit something to you because I, every day of my life for the past forever, have taken a nap at 4 o'clock.
Really?
Every single day of my life, I take a nap.
Stop.
it-
For how long?
It's a very solid routine. You can ask Hannah. Hannah actually thought all mothers did it. I mean, she actually thought like Hannah will change her life around me and my nap. Like she'll be like, "Oh, Mom, we got to get back. It's almost nap time."
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
I go home and when I nap, I take everything off.
Okay.
And I put on I don't wear full flannel. I always like a nice nightie.
Yeah.
Nightie. I love a good cotton
Yep.
nightie.
Yeah.
And I lay down and I sleep for 45 minutes and then I get back up. And it's always 45 minutes. And then I get back up.
Not an hour, 45 minutes.
But from beginning to end, it's an hour.
Yeah.
But by the time because I like to wash my
Mhm.
hands, wash
Yeah.
my
Like wash
feet,
it off.
and then go in my bed. And then I'll take a little nap. I just close my eyes for 45 minutes very peacefully. And then I wake
And you
back
will fall asleep like no problem.
in a sound sleep.
Wow.
And then I
Oh,
wake
wow.
up, and I don't even really put an alarm on. I do put the alarm on, but I would say 9 out of 10 times I wake up
You wake
2
up.
minutes before the 45 minutes.
that is
And then
amazing.
I get up, and then I wash my
Start
face
over and
start-
like do the
yeah.
night routine.
That is
And then if I'm going
Incredible.
out that night, I start the beginnings of what I'm going to wear that night then.
Wow.
Because I like to be dressed. If I'm going out at 8, I like to be dressed at 6, so I'm in the mood for it by the time I go out.
yeah.
I like the whole.
So you're dressed by 6?
I like to be dressed. If I'm going to
And what are you doing? Are you at home having a
Yeah.
cocktail and just like hanging out?
really have a cocktail, I like to be dressed and start getting in the mood for that, and just kind of be in my apartment and maybe
Okay, see,
sit,
that's
listen
why
to a
you're
little
fancy.
music. I'm not fancy at all,
Okay.
but I just like to. I like that evening kind of thing.
If I have dinner at 7 o'clock and I have to leave the house, probably at 6:30, but I actually end up not leaving till like 6:45, I will be in my pajamas until about 6:22.
No,
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you have little kids. It's a different
6
thing.
months, and I will not have the makeup on.
But
and
that's
it's
a different thing. You have little kids. You got to remember, I'm all on my own now, so I can.
So you could like enjoy. It's like a
Yes,
process.
I can enjoy it. I mean, when I had Hannah, I was probably, I didn't have time to do all that. Could barely get out the door. I think when you have kids and stuff, it's very different. Now I have the luxury of,
That's
little-
luxury.
a little
That's how
time.
I am like when I travel. Like in my hotel room, no one's there.
That's what I
take
mean.
the time.
Imagine if you're. That's what I live in New York now. I sold my old apartment and I bought a new one and redid it. And the whole time I literally went to visit hotels. I was like, I want to have this new apartment be a combination of the Carlton hotel and a boat. The way a boat they put everything.
Well, that's
I want everything efficient, built in, and like I'm staying in a
like a really
huge
beautiful.
hotel room.
Yeah.
So when I come to the city, and it's kind of upstairs, downstairs, I made the whole upstairs my dressing room.
Nice.
Love.
That's it.
Love.
So and the whole downstairs, it's all built out. There's so literally very little furniture, and it's so nice. So I have this luxury now to be living like you would in a hotel.
Right.
What's your sign?
Sagittarian.
Oh, Sagittarius.
Lots of hooks. I hate an apartment.
I
without
love a hook.
I love hooks. I went to Waterworks and bought like 10 great hooks. And I love to be able to be anywhere in your house and put it
And
stuff
just
in a
hang
hook.
something
I think
on a hook.
Americans lack hooks.
I'm a fan of hooks. I cannot lie.
But New York living is so different.
It's so different. Well, you have to be efficient.
Yes. Like I live in my car and I have a lot of house. So I have a lot of stuff. It's like the stuff accumulates. But you have your house in the Berkshires.
Well, and you're right. A stuff accumulates. And I do this weird thing where I'll literally take stuff from New York and bring it up to Great Barrington and leave it there. And I'm like, I got to stop that because that's the problem with big houses. God, I mean, I bet when you were kind of moving stuff around for the fire, you realized how much stuff you had.
So it would actually, what's interesting, you bring that up, is because it actually brought up a lot of emotions in Rob because he started, so we have, it's 2-story, but we actually built a basement and with a big storage unit and it's like all his scripts, all his movie stuff. But it was like 9,000 square foot. The house is big. And watching him like not know what to take out, he was really kind of like spiraling. And he was literally trying to take everything out. I mean, like it was crazy because it's like his whole life was in front of him and the history of all the projects he's worked on. And he's like, I need your help. What do I keep this? And I said, Rob, like I can't help you. Like I didn't work on that. This was me and this is on you. And he goes, I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, I'm just letting you know on my side, none of it matters.
Well, you know what's so interesting? I bet you could find a great archivist to come in and put that all together so he has it in one place.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then that way it kind of is, because I think when things are organized, they bring, organization brings safety. They say that in kids. They say that when people are going through mental problems or depression.
And just clarity.
And just
like I just
love
like,
okay,
being
it's
organized.
safe, and I can always just
Well, that's the thing. It's not that it's not. It's like our basement. You've seen it. Like,
no, but that's what I mean.
All the art, you can't take it.
Well, the only reason I say that is because Richard was a prolific writer, and he was a geopolitical writer, and he would write reports every single week for kind of governmental reports and reports for Bernanke and all these people, and he would. So I had vast amounts of binders of all the reports that I had just all downstairs in the basement. And when my basement flooded, I lost a lot of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And luckily, it was on his computer, which I kind of went and I took and I printed it all out because I don't trust anything that's on computer because I'm always afraid things. And I literally had them all bound. So now I have a full binder. And I thought one day I'm just going to have to tell these kids, take all your father's writings.
Right.
And I put them in these sealed plastic things, but they're now all bound by year.
Right. Beautiful.
Wow.
That's the way to
but
do it.
But not fancy. I mean,
right.
Right. And they just bound them. And now I feel, because it was making me, I was feeling like for me with him not here, I was disrespecting this work. And if I lost it, I'm losing him or his kids are losing him.
Right. That's a gift for your kids.
Yes. For his kids.
Yes.
Because they're my stepkids. Yeah. I get it. It's amazing thing when these natural disasters happens because when about 6 years ago, I had like $1 million of damage to Bluestone Manor because it flooded one night when I was at Andy Cohen's baby shower.
My God, I was there.
You were there.
Of
my
course.
pipes broke, and then
I
it went
didn't
down
know
to 15 below in Bluestone and the Berkshires, and every pipe broke in my house. So I get a call from my parents. They're like, "Your house is literally we had to have the town come and shut off the water.
Stop.
The town had to basically break into my house.
Oh my gosh! While you were out here
So
trying,
I literally was like, my father's like, you got to come home. And I said, why? Like at this point,
right? What do you go home
what
to
am I
do?
going to
It's
do?
done.
You know, whatever it
Right.
is done. And when I got there, luckily it all gone in the basement. It's at like 8 feet of water. But my basement was like a basement that stored everything like yours.
Mhm.
And everything was gone. I mean, I have to say,
Wow.
Hannah tells the story all the time. I mean, I lost photo albums, I lost everything, but I lost Christmas decorations I
Mhm,
collected over
mhm.
the years of living in Europe. You know, that each city I would collect stuff. Baby albums, because back then
Ugh,
albums were
Wow.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when we
of
were young,
course. That's what
albums
we
were the
had.
thing.
Yeah.
You do them and stick them together and
Yeah.
date them and do all that
Yeah.
shit. The thing I cried most about, Hannah's like, I'll never forget it. You lost so much stuff, but I had collected over the years through 2 husbands and lots of lives and children. Whenever I'd gotten something from Hermes, a bag or something, I
Mhm.
kept the box.
All your boxes.
So Hannah's like, you know what's ironic, Mom? You were very kind of like, oh, it's so sad I lost those photos. But she said, when you saw them pack up all those Hermes boxes and throw them in the back of a dumpster truck, I thought you were going to have a nervous breakdown. I said, because you know why, Hannah? I don't have enough life left to collect those kind of boxes anymore.
It's
That would
true.
be devastating.
I mean, each one of those boxes represent a husband, a life, an
Absolutely.
anniversary,
Oh
a
my
birth,
God.
a birthday present.
Absolutely. A lot of history.
I mean, they don't just
Yeah.
hand those big boxes over easily.
No, they do not.
Mm-mm.
I'm we're on a mission for her to get an orange box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
you need an orange box.
She needs an orange box.
Now, what color Hermes would you want first? And
Well,
what size
I don't have
Birkin?
one, so I feel like I just have to have black for the first
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, black is great.
Because I mean, it's like the first one, right? Like if
Yeah.
you only have
But
one,
you know what's funny? I don't have a black one.
You don't have a black one.
I think
What was the color of your first one?
My first one was pewter.
pewter.
It was like a
Oh.
putty pewter color.
Oh, that's
Remember
pretty.
that color? I don't even know
Yes.
if they make. I'm sure they make
Oh,
it. But that was
wow.
Well, they have
Oh.
like seasonal, but
But
that's
that
pretty.
back then, that was a big color in London. Everybody's wearing that pewter kind of color.
That's pretty. When I was at Fashion Week, I got a 25 Birkin. I got the classic gold with white piping.
See, that's
Oh,
good
that's
too.
beautiful.
and it's classic because I've actually only bought colors. Like, I don't know. It's so, okay. So this is so funny. I'll never forget. I was like 22 years old. I was at the plaza and Rob and I were like engaged or whatever. And Rob was like older than me. So he was like more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And I had like my Kipling bag or something like that, you know? And there was this
That's the one
beautiful.
with the little monkey
Yeah,
on
the
it.
monkey. Yeah, that's like
I
my
love that.
$60 bag. And this woman walked in and she had this, I don't know, maybe it was a 30 and a black, very elegant, sexy woman. And I go, oh, wow. And I think it was Sex and the City era. So I knew what a Birkin was now. And I go, oh my God, that's that bag, you know? And I was drinking a Cosmo, of course. I mean, it was like such a like
Yeah, or at
total.
least
Right.
a Kelly. Back then, the Kelly, if you had a Kelly, you were really made it. in
Well,
Well, I
the
mean,
city.
I love
yeah.
a Kelly.
Yeah.
So I saw him like, Rob, and he was like, you should get one. And I'm like,
What?
yeah, I was like, what? And I think at the time they were not, they were a couple
No,
thousand.
at the time you actually because when I was living in Europe, they used to have them like at Heathrow Airport because
That's
every
right.
husband that would come home from a trip before they came home to see their wife, they'd
Wow.
panic
And they
and
get
have
a
to buy
bag.
their wife something.
Yeah.
And if they were away a long time, the present got nicer. I mean, I don't have a
Mhm.
lot of them, but Ralph would come home and if he was away for a weekend, he'd bring me an Hermes wallet. Or I have
Mhm.
the scarf was just an everyday.
I
And then
love
every once in a
that.
while, so at Heathrow, the Hermes at Heathrow used to be the best place to get the Hermes bags.
That's
because they knew
brilliant.
that the husbands were walking through in a panic and they would buy anything.
Well, no longer does that
Yeah, I
happen,
know.
sadly. But at the time, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, and then we were having a drink at a table, and this man started talking to us, and he overheard us. And I'll never forget this. It's like one of those stories that like you can't even believe
Only
it's like
in
in a
New York.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, you don't want a black bag. You don't need a black Birkin. I go, oh, why? He goes, because if you walk around, and I'm not saying this because you
No,
shouldn't get
no.
it because I love the black, and that's my next one.
Right.
But he goes, if she's wearing a black, that's the only one she has.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
Yeah, I don't
true.
think you should get a black one.
Do you
What color
believe
should I
that? And he
get?
goes,
I really
pink,
don't.
green.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
woman has the
You
black
know,
at home.
I never.
Right.
I
If you have the color.
I have
Can
a-
you believe
I have a
Mm,
black one, and
it
I
makes
never-
sense.
I almost thought to myself I was going to give it to Hannah because I never wear it either.
You don't.
Oh my goodness.
I just
because
never
I-
bought one
You
since
know,
then.
I think,
Okay, well, I feel like it would have if it's not black, it has to be a neutral color,
Okay,
like a
but
gold or a
I
silver,
think
something
a
that I feel
gold
like
would be
I got to
beautiful.
get some mileage out of
I-
it.
The
but
gold is
the gold is.
I'm
I
so
can wear
happy
it with a
that.
lot
I
of
would
different
love a
things.
gold one.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in
yeah.
the market for a Birkin bag anymore, but I do love that. Like I regret. You know when I regret not getting, and I know it's so common, but at the time I just thought, oh, I regret getting that just classic orange one.
Oh, yeah.
That was a pretty one.
That
Yeah.
I feel like that you can get too. That's a great one.
That's a
Mhm.
great
yeah,
one.
yeah.
I saw someone wearing it the other day. She was wearing all black, and she had it on.
So
I thought,
chic.
It's just such a great look. And
Yeah, because you could do
it's
day,
such
you
a
can do
distinct
night.
Yeah.
orange, and it's just
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, I think our guy Michael watches the podcast.
Oh, Michael
and
listens.
Michael, if you're listening,
Michael
Toast.
Cos.
I
Yeah.
can't have the black, but I think I might be getting close to maybe getting the gold one.
It's-
a gold
you,
one.
can I
know.
tell you something, Cynthia? You would look great with the gold.
I would, right?
With all black, a black turtleneck.
And I feel like
black
I don't
leggings
need
and
like
that.
a collection. I just need
No,
one.
you don't.
No,
Just
you
give
don't
me
need a
my
collection.
one.
Listen,
Like I have like I have like
I'm
one
at-
Chanel bag.
I'm
and
at the
it's-
point I don't
it's
even wear
black.
mine because it hurts my shoulder.
The which one?
Because I need
Oh,
something
that-
now across.
Well, they're heavy.
They're heavy, and
No, I'm a crossbody person.
yeah, I love a crossbody
That's all I have.
Mm.
I only wear it
for like lunch.
for
dinner,
lunch.
Yeah,
It is a very specific. I mean, women that wear that kind of bag daily, I'm like very impressed with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that is not me at all. Mine is like I got to be dressed to the nine to bring that bag out,
Yeah.
take it out of the
Yeah.
dust bag, the
Yeah.
whole thing. But there is some beauty in like collecting. I don't know. Like
Yeah, there
I
is.
definitely love like it's exciting the colors. It's exciting just like I just that moment of seeing that woman when I was younger and
Sure.
like, you know, but he that man has put it in my head. So I just have every time I go, I'm like, I kind of want a black one. I'm like, I can't
but I
because
think
he's
I think if you do get a black one, you have to get it with the silver hardware.
I'm so into gold.
Ooh.
Oh, I
But the
think
silver is the
silver-
classic.
I
It
just
is.
think
It
it's- I
is?
think
Yes,
it's
but gold-
chic.
Because I'm into gold.
Gold is very modern.
Yeah,
and
I
silver
like
is
the
This is
traditional.
this is so complicated. Like buying these.
It is
bags.
complicated.
It's like a whole
complicated because it's not
thing.
cheap. Like if
Right.
it was cheap, you just wouldn't care.
Yeah,
or you just get.
but
a
it's
great-
like one of those things you want to get it right if you're gonna do it.
And I still like the classic red one too. I always think
Oh,
that's beautiful.
the red.
Yeah, the rouge is so pretty.
It's just so pretty.
And
Yeah.
red is the color of protection. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a
it's
good
very
thing,
lucky.
too.
So their
And red you
Hermes
can wear
red
with
is like a
everything.
Yeah.
deeper. It's like almost like a burgundy,
Like a blood red.
It's beautiful.
Mm.
It's beautiful.
I don't have that.
I could talk about this.
And
bag
like
all
for
day
the
long.
first one, since we're just doing a tutorial on it now, like do I get the big one, the medium, or the smaller
What?
one?
What do you say?
For the
25
first
for
one.
her?
think
Like how do I
25.
It might
pop
be
my
small.
cherry?
But maybe 35.
30,
30.
yeah,
Yeah, is it
35.
30? Yeah.
I would say big ones are right now are not as popular.
Well, because
Okay.
they're so hard to carry.
Yeah, they're just big because they're heavy.
They're
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah. So I would say 25 is really popular. I've been getting 25s.
But you have a lot. I have like
How many do
Maybe-
you have exactly?
I don't have that many.
You
know,
do.
I
You have
no.
more than like 5.
I have more than 5.
Yeah,
Well,
I only have.
that's a
about-
lot. How many do you
let's
have?
say I have a.
But you have like wallets and stuff. I don't
yeah,
do that.
I
I
have
just get that.
white. I have a pewter.
Oh God, I want white.
I have not a red. I don't have a red. Let me say. I have a white. I have a black. I haven't used them in ages. Oh, and I have a green.
I'm happy to take
What
that
kind of
black one
green?
off your
I
hands.
have the green little one.
What kind of green?
It's like it's the old school
Like
green.
Kelly green.
Like Kelly green.
Yeah, that's so nice.
So how many do you have exactly?
like
like
4.
5. Yeah.
Okay,
Four.
and you?
But over
10, 12.
30 years.
Okay, so you have 4, and it may be 3 because I may have to get your black one since you don't ever carry that.
like 10.
Hannah's
12.
got
You have
know,
like 10, 12.
You know, I'm thinking about giving it to Hannah. When she
You should.
When she graduates from
Mm.
Harvard, I'm thinking about giving.
Oh
it to
yeah.
her. Because you know what? She's going to be a professor, and I think it's
Oh,
very
wow.
professory.
Oh, it's
That is very
That's why you
professory.
have these bags is to pass to your daughters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really do. She doesn't know that yet, but I'm sure she'll know now. But I thought, you know what? You're not going to use it. I literally think I've worn it twice.
No, it's for her.
Yeah.
That's
And I thought when she graduates, I'm going to give her one nice bag so when she goes to do a lecture or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And she
She
it's
can have that
time. She'll
bag.
be 33.
and it's great because it's not a new one. It's like an original,
Yeah.
which is like it's very different.
Yeah.
The older ones.
Mhm.
It's the same model, but they're very special. you
Yeah.
I mean,
know?
I have to say, I'm not like super into fashion, but I cannot not notice a nice Birkin bag when I
Yeah.
see one.
I just like
in the
I like a nice
airport,
bag, period.
getting on the airplane.
If I had my
Mm.
way, I would have tons and tons of bags. I think nothing's more elegant when you just see a woman that's like in a black turtleneck, black leggings, and a
Yes!
great bag.
Literally, that's
the
my
thing,
uniform.
I'm very
I love
casual.
bags.
I don't spend
Yeah.
money on clothes.
Yeah, I
I
love a
really
bag.
don't.
I'd
Yeah.
rather have a bag than
It's-
clothes.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
same.
I love, and I actually
Like
look at
Prada's
my
done
shoes.
some really cute. I'm not going to get them, but I was looking the other day and thinking, Prada's got some cute bags, and Loewe's got some cute
Yeah.
little bags.
I love
and-
it.
Right?
Lewis has really risen.
Great.
It's
bag
super
right now.
trendy. That's my crossbody. I love
Mm.
it. I think it's like that's the new hot bag for me.
Right?
Yeah. But like I don't like for me like clothes, like spending a ton of money on that gets thrown in the washing
That's
machine
it.
2 days
Yeah.
later is so
No,
weird to
and
me.
I actually want new clothes. Like I don't want to like save clothes. Like I don't want to wear
collectible
I'm
clothes.
just
Yeah.
wearing-
Yeah, like
I'm
I
not
feel
even-
like
am just
why?
wearing all my old clothes now. I don't really need to buy anything. I literally just think we are back to buying I love the basic.
Yeah.
That's it.
I-
Did you
always
feel like I have to ask this
classic.
question? Did you feel like you had to like did you get like a whole collection before you filmed?
No,
So you guys really wore just what you wore?
I never did it, but I had so many great clothes from, London and my archives. I mean, you did for like sometimes, like you do for anything. Like if there was a
Mhm.
cast thing or maybe a trip, I'd be like, I'm gonna go buy myself a couple new dresses,
Yeah.
like I would for any trip, quite
Yeah.
frankly.
See, I had a brand new outfit every single time we filmed, and it was like I had rolling racks. It was like this is for this scene, this is for like
Oh well, you were organized. No, I
Mhm.
didn't do that
because I don't have nice clothes.
Yeah, no.
So like I
Oh,
had
that's
to-
not true.
I
You
don't. I
do.
just I didn't have that like, and I think because like Beverly Hills, everyone is like head to toe Dior and da da da.
Well,
You're like
I'll tell you what.
Mm.
New York wasn't that dressed because remember we did a lot in our apartments. We did a lot for lunch.
Mhm.
We did a lot walking in the park. We dressed for our cast parties, but we dressed like we dress in New York.
Yeah.
yeah. See, I love that.
So like, at
New
night,
York
if
is
I
very
went-
forgiving with fashion.
Yeah,
You
yes.
literally can do whatever you want to
whatever
do.
you want. I mean, the way that these girls dress in Beverly
And nobody
Hills,
cares
I
how much
couldn't
it
be on that
costs.
show. I couldn't afford it.
it's
Yeah.
really hard.
I could not afford to be on
Mhm.
But
that show.
Rinna would say that Erica leveled up the game. It's kind of you're saying like Phaedra leveled up.
Mhm.
Like Erica really started creating looks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then so then everyone followed suit. So I came in later. So when I got there, it was already like I knew right away
You had
I
to
had
step it-
to,
step
and they
it up.
expect it.
Like even the other night on the scene when they had the caftan, I was so funny when they had this caftan party with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
what's
I
her
love a
name?
good caftan.
at Jennifer's at Caviar Caspia.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cara
Yeah.
Caspia.
I love a good caftan and I love
Tilly,
caviar.
Jennifer.
Jennifer
Yes.
Kelly. And I was thinking, if I really did, it's so funny. I was thinking, if I had to go to that, what would I have worn?
Mm.
Because those weren't just normal caftans; those were like beautiful
Yeah.
caftans.
Like
Yeah.
Dior
Gorgeous.
caftans.
Yes.
Yeah, which are like
Yeah.
$6,000.
That's what I'm saying. And you're
Mhm.
never going to wear it again.
Never.
I
just-
would wear it again if I paid that much. For it, for sure.
Yeah.
You'd walk around
And
all day
again
long
and
in a
again and
caftan.
again.
But everyone had.
But
a good,
I
and
love a
thought,
good
I don't
caftan.
know what I would do if I had to dress for that kind of thing.
I would go on Amazon.
Do you watch Beverly Hills Housewives?
I do.
What do you think about this season?
What do I think about it this season? I was very, very, very interested in the Dorit and PK story. I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Me
don't know
either.
well enough. I think it's amazing how quick it's progressed, which leads me to believe I feel like he's much more on top of it than she is.
Like, what do
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? Like he really kind of made the decision, and it seems like he's just going through it quickly. Like I don't know.
Like the decision to
To separate.
separate.
Like I think she wanted to work on it for. I think she would have stayed. If
I
she
feel like
could've.
she wanted to work on it.
Yeah,
too.
and he just seems like he's writing nasty emails and progressing as fast as he can.
But I think to your point, it's like when you watch it, it seems like it's really progressed, which makes me think that it's been like that for a while. They just decided to air it out. So they're kind of they're trying to catch up everybody to where they're actually at now, but it's probably been a while. You don't just go like that.
I would have never seen that one coming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I would have never seen Kyle and Mauricio. You just
I
don't know. I would have
definitely
never.
didn't see
So
that
I
coming.
think that for me, it's kind of sad because I like to watch the
Yeah.
families together.
Absolutely.
I
me
like the
too.
dynamic. It gives me hope about life. Like, oh,
Mhm.
people are happy. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And
everyone's
people do have these
single.
lives.
Especially on a reality
I'm
show
enjoying.
as well.
I don't know. I was reading the other day, Shemeka, but I'm really enjoying Bose. I think she's a great.
I
addition.
love Bose. I actually
She's
just
cool.
saw her at the event that I just came from.
I love the way she
Yeah.
looks. I love her attitude. I just think she's a very interesting character.
She's
Yeah.
very interesting, and she is truly in her authentic self. Like
well,
this
and
is
also
really
too,
like
she kind
who
of
she
rolled
is.
in and
Like, she didn't,
really
like-
just kind of fit in, and
Right.
that's it.
But what I love is she didn't like. Sometimes when you go on TV, you're like, okay, I'm going to be on this show. Maybe I need to take it
Change
down a little
myself a
bit or
little-
do
no,
whatever. Nope, that woman that she is on that show is exactly the woman that I know her to be for all these years.
That's awesome because that's really hard to do.
yeah, it is very hard to do.
Especially this late in the game of housewives. to walk in a show
Because
like
you want to
in
try
LA,
to fit in normally.
that's really hard to be
so-
yourself. And you could tell that she like.
Oh no,
Yeah.
she's comfortable with herself. That
Yeah.
girl.
And
Yeah.
it's so great to see.
I don't think she really wants a baby. I mean, I think
No.
she don't do that baby thing. She seems so happy.
I don't think.
47 years old to start all over again.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I mean, I'm one and done, so I couldn't imagine having
Also,
another
too,
child
she
at
had
47.
a difficult. She talked about it, so I'm not talking to her school. She had a difficult pregnancy.
Yeah,
she'd
she
lost-
did.
So why would you put yourself? Just enjoy your
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to wake up at 67 and have a 20-year-old?
No,
Mm-mm.
no. I'm done.
I don't.
I finished at 31. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm done. I had 29,
I mean,
31 to good.
I just
Yeah.
turned 58 and I have a 25-year-old, and I look at her sometimes like,
No.
how did you get
I'm
here?
It's such, just enjoy. I really don't like to see. Listen, I don't like to see the falling apart of the friendships.
Yeah.
I know. I know.
Erica's very quiet, but she's. I give her grace because she had a couple of those years
Listen,
where we have
we
to
have to give
basically
Erica
turned
grace.
the poor girl inside
No,
out.
she's
Erica
earned
for
a
the
few
past 3
years.
years, she earned.
Yeah,
If she literally,
but it's
Yeah.
nice.
like if she decides to say, if she didn't want
but
to say
what I like-
anything for the season, we
But what
give her
I
the
love about
pass.
it, it's like we see this and Sutton yelling with that and Dorit yelling with this and this, and then you say, Erica's like, well, the decorator's coming over today to redecorate my house.
Isn't it amazing
girl.
though?
Yeah.
Each year, how the audience can
Yeah.
shift.
Oh yeah.
It's like
Crazy.
they're so fickle, but
100%.
and they just move on. Like I've never seen people. I mean, that's when I was on. Like hate someone so much.
I know, and look
it
at
was
now.
scary almost. She didn't do
The
one piece
power
of
the
press. Yeah,
housewives.
and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I love her. She's so funny.
Yeah.
Like they really don't
Yeah.
care, and I think that's really important for anyone.
Well,
who goes
because
on the
everybody
show.
likes a comeback person, and everybody likes to see that people
I love a comeback
go
story.
through something and come out of it at the other end. And I think that what I feel when I watch Erica is I feel like she's very peaceful now.
She
Like, after
seems it.
She seems
going
very
through-
happy.
Right? I know all the bells and whistles may be gone, but she seems to me more authentically peaceful.
Absolutely,
Thank
with
God,
like a
though,
much
right?
simpler, less like over the top life.
That's
like
just
I
great.
love
By the
seeing
way,
her
that life
and her
is hard work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like to keep up.
Yeah,
To have a simple life
Yeah.
is.
Oh,
I
I
always
cou-
think about that. Like, how
Yeah.
do I simplify my life? Like, it's so much to just kind of keep it at this level, and I'm like, how do I chill?
But it is
You know?
true.
So
like
much
even
work.
I was thinking about when when I'm up in the Berkshires and I'll find a drawer, I think about when I was married to Richard, and it was a beautiful life, and I loved him so much, and we had a great life. But it was a lot.
Yeah.
Like it was. I had my job, and everything
Yeah.
needed to be run a certain way, and
Yeah.
the kids, and the house, and the country house, and the vacations. Like I was planning vacations for spring break in September.
wow.
Girl, right before this, I was sitting there booking my
Yeah.
spring break, my
Mhm.
summer
And
trip.
you're
It's a
thinking
lot.
this, and then everything was organized, and also too, I even think it with Bluestone Manor one day when I no longer own Bluestone Manor because I don't think I'm going to own it forever because Hannah doesn't want it, and I don't see myself at 70. I mean, I don't know. God,
I mean, it's so beautiful.
I know, but maybe I will. But the point is, back then when the kids were all home and Richard liked the house in his life to be run a certain way. So of
Mhm.
course, as a dutiful wife, I followed suit. And
Yeah.
he funded it, so why not? But I was thinking the other day, it's so nice to not have so many people in your life.
Yeah,
Like when you have a big life, you have a lot of people,
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's the state I'm in.
right?
Yeah.
And
it's a
don't
lot.
you feel like sometimes like it's nice that like my apartment now in New York City, I have a lady come twice a week.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, my house is my apartment's
Simplicity
silent.
is everything.
What?
Like simplicity, just keeping it simple. Like I don't want to have to go to work and then have like my home life be work. Like I
That's
want
what-
like
well,
to come
that's
home to
what it
like a
was.
very simple, stable situation. And I don't need I think the older I get, I just don't need that much.
No, me neither.
I think my state, I can't simplify right now.
Well, you're got young. You're in a very different.
Well, you're
state.
younger
Yeah, I
than we
can't do
are.
that right
You
now.
are.
No,
in
you're
a
still younger,
Completely
so.
different state. You
Yeah.
still have young children.
Like Rob was
You're-
calling me, but we're talking about like baseball, right? I'm like, I can't. I'm
no,
like,
no, no.
I'm
no.
sitting
You're
here with
not-
the girls. I can't.
You're not there yet. But
Yeah.
we,
No.
we are.
Yes.
Like it's like
Yeah.
I just want like a clean, safe, peaceful situation. Like I'm not that
Yeah.
complicated.
No, you're not even close to that. You still have to get through high school.
Yeah,
and
you got a lot more
college
years
Yeah,
to do.
and all the traumas.
I have to get through
of
middle
that.
school. I mean, I
No.
know. I'm really in it. Okay. I love this conversation, by the way. I wanted to say something to you because you brought up how was it when I went to watch What Happens Live? How
Yes.
was it? So,
How
you know,
was it?
and I wanted
Yes.
to talk
Because
to you
I
guys
remember
about
the first time I went after they put me on.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
we talked
Yeah.
after I left
Yes.
Atlanta And I think we talked after you
Yeah.
left. Like we always talk. It's always very interesting. And
Yeah. Well,
I have
that's-
like quarterback
And
this
we
one
talked
here.
after you left.
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to bring up because, you know, I spent like a week kind of doing press
Mhm.
for Humble Brag, and I did Watch What Happens Live. And, you know, everywhere I go, when they ask me questions, I kind of do like the PR answer, right? But this is my safe space, and I'm like so grateful for like people who listen, and because I feel like they're so supportive of us and me. And I've talked about from the beginning of being let go to where I'm at now. So when you ask me
Mhm.
how was it, I just want to be like so transparent. And why it's important to bring this up right now is because you asked me, is because you were my first call after I was let go.
Oh wow.
Dorinda called me, and it makes me
You-
very emotional.
I think you were my first call.
I
after,
do.
after
You
I got let
are.
go.
I like to let people know I'm here. I've been through it.
You're like,
Come over
how are
to-
you doing? How are
Yeah.
you feeling? I
I'm like-
just saw this.
I know.
That's so
And-
true.
And I just want to recognize you as like such an incredible sister and
Mhm.
friend
Aw, love.
and support. We really connected at BravoCon.
Yes.
And you were just like that with me while I was on the show. And, you know, I think you could tell it wasn't like my most comfortable. Like
Yeah,
I was
yes.
already very much like an outsider. But you were my first call, and you were checking in on me, and
Mhm.
you were so supportive, and you were like such a great cheerleader, just as Cynthia is.
I want to cry.
But you were you were the first. And so I wanted to share my experience with Watch What Happens Live. So I will say, when I got the call a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
I really didn't want to go. I had a lot of mixed feelings because I just felt like I didn't want to feel embarrassed.
And you don't want to be dragged back
Mhm.
mentally, right? You know
All
what I mean?
of
You're
it.
like,
Yes, because I'm trying to emotionally
Yes.
separate. And while I feel like I've been really good and quick about it, relatively to I think some women who've left the show, I'm not fully healed, I guess is the word
Mhm.
yet. This podcast definitely has catapulted to my healing, but I'm
Mhm.
not there yet, you know? And so when I got the call, I was like, and they said, you know, you're going to do it on Beverly Hills Night with a housewife. And I'm like, okay, well, feels even more of a dagger, but okay. And I was like, I just need to know who I'm going to do it with before I
Yeah.
even say yes.
Yeah.
And so I was very nervous heading in. And then they said, it's going to be Jennifer Tilly. I was like, oh my God, thank
Our
God.
girl.
Jennifer is so great.
Yeah. We love
And
her.
she's been in 3 of Rob's movies. Like they go back 30 years.
oh, perfect.
So I have some history with Jennifer. But I still was like, what is it going to be like? And I just was like, I didn't know what it was going to be like if I was
Mhm.
going to be seen as,
well, you have imposter
know-
syndrome. You walk in, you're like,
Mm.
why am I
Completely.
here?
That
Do
part.
people think I'm a loser now?
Yeah.
Like, is anyone
Like-
going to be nice to me? Like,
Yes.
am I sitting in the second seat because
Yeah.
now I'm a loser? Like,
Yes.
it's an
All of
imposter
those
syndrome
things.
thing.
yes. And I told my publicist, I was like, I feel that way. And they're like, you're going because you love your pod. I'm like, I know, but like, you guys have no idea how I'm feeling right now, except you
Yes.
guys. But I faked it till I made it. And I'm just being really like honest about it. I'm like, I can really lean into bubbles, but I'll
Mhm.
tell you, all the pieces fit. I was so lucky to have Jennifer on it with me.
Yes.
And
yes.
very quickly, I felt very happy to be there.
Mhm.
I was super excited.
And I could tell you did. And you know what's so interesting? Because I had to go on a couple of weeks ago with, because Traitors came out, and I went on with one of the girls from Salt Lake City. And of course, I was like, oh. And of course, you're not going to say no.
Right.
But
Yeah.
and I did say yes, but then the panic starts to set in, even going down
Mhm.
thinking, huh, like, are people going to think, what is she doing down there with Salt Lake
Yes.
City? That's such a,
Mhm.
like, why, who that, that's very, but what you realize once you get in there and you get in the rhythm and the energy is you're part of something forever.
Absolutely.
As soon as they meet you, you're like, oh,
Absolutely.
that's right. So even though you may not be part of it in this moment,
Absolutely.
you're part of the ethos.
I mean, here's the thing that,
that.
and I get that, and I feel that way now. And people say that, but you have to go through. You have to walk the coals
Oh,
to
yes,
get
you
there.
do.
Absolutely.
I had to experience to feel that I'm still a part of it.
And
And
you'll feel that way every time you go back now when you're not. Because I've been back 3 or 4 times and I still feel
Yeah.
a little bit off.
I
It
think
gets
I would
better
too.
each time.
Yes.
But I'm still like,
yes. But I just want to give you my thanks. I want to give you my
Aw,
thanks.
love
I mean,
that.
supporting me through it.
Cynthia's
And
great like
I
that.
called her already. She knows this, but I was very excited. So I kind of got like a little crazy about like ratings. I'm like, are people like not going to watch it? And so I was like obsessively like scrolling through my phone to see if the ratings came out. And I literally started crying yesterday because for all like Beverly Hills, we doubled the ratings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
On like a Wednesday night.
Yeah,
too.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like the second highest rated in a few
Well,
years.
because people miss when they let good people go.
Yeah.
The audience is, the Bravo audiences are really, as hard as they are very loyal,
They are.
Very loyal.
right?
Yes.
They're tough, they're this, they're that, but they are loyal and they are ride or die.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. But I feel like if our humble braggers were out there rooting me
Yes.
on, watching, like, thank you for supporting me because I didn't know I needed it, but I needed that moment.
Yeah.
It makes me want to cry, like a validation because
Yeah.
it's been
I know.
hard.
Mhm.
I know.
I know it's
it
become me
has.
so.
I
Yeah.
know.
Anyway, thank you.
It's
yeah.
listen, it's
It was a
always-
really nice moment.
Even to listen, I had it
Mhm.
today. Like when I was going to the reunion, I got murdered. The first thing I said, I turned to Chanel. I'm like, "What am I doing here?" Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I think us as women, we're so hard on ourselves. We so
Yeah.
quickly lean into imposter syndrome,
Yeah.
Mhm.
right? We
Yeah.
do. It's such a sad thing,
Yeah.
you know. When we work so hard, we climb the mountain, and my God, we just think we slide right down, but we don't.
Mhm. Yeah, I
You know,
think
I thought, A, you look beautiful. B, you look very comfortable.
Thank you.
Because I
was,
kind
so-
of felt like in a
I know
weird-
you.
and
That's when you
and
asked me, I
almost
knew.
texted you. And I thought I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be that person.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I thought she looks comfortable and happy.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
we have to remember that we have value. It doesn't matter like at what
100%.
point in our lives that we are at. And you have to remember you guys walked so the New York housewives could run.
Yeah.
Like honestly, you guys were the first ones to do New York. And that's never going to go away. And that is like amazing. That is amazing. Like we can't forget just because we did it first. First of all, we should be even more proud that we did it first.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's like a legacy.
As opposed to like, are we still doing it?
right.
We did it first. We did it well. We set the tone.
That's
You
it.
know, the new ladies that come in, like I just was at an event. They're like, oh my God, Cynthia
Yeah.
Bailey,
Yeah.
legend, whatever. And I'm like, and I have to remind my own self, like, I'm that bitch.
That's right.
Like I came on season 3 of Beverly Hills. I had a whole career before that. Like I've been living my dreams and, you know, my goals and just, you know, living the life that I curated for myself for a long time. And that has value.
Well,
Yes,
also
it
it's
No
does.
matter
very-
if I'm a friend of the show or I'm a housewife
That's
or I'm
it.
doing a whole nother show that has nothing to do with the show.
I
has
always say we
value.
were chosen because I always say they can take the frosting, but we bring the cake.
There you go.
Mm.
Come on.
So but we forget that.
Yeah.
we
There's
forget
a
it.
reason why we got picked, and they just kind of say, okay, we're taking that frosting off, but we
Yeah,
leave
and
with
why
the
did we
cake.
and why did we
I love
why
that.
did we forget that? We have to stop looking at like where we are now. Like we have to like really bask and give ourselves grace when it comes to
Uh-huh.
like how far we have come. Like, and we constantly reinvent ourselves all
Yeah,
the time.
Correct.
And that is like, everybody can't do that. Some people are like a one and done. They
That's
like
right.
can't figure it out.
Well, also,
But you're over here going to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Like I look at you, I'm like, yeah, I got to keep this shit going. This
And
is
also
this
it's
is
so
inspiration.
important. I think I talk about this with women. We allow other people to choose our destiny or change our destiny or predict our destiny.
Mhm.
Like we own our destiny.
Yeah, we have control.
So if this job decides it's no longer going to work with us, that's fine.
Yeah.
I control my destiny. And
Yeah.
now we say, thank you very much.
Mhm.
That was great.
Yep.
Everything has a beginning, a
Mhm.
middle, and an end.
Yeah.
Every plant, every person, every job,
Mhm.
everything. You know, when it rains, it's going to sunshine. When it
Mhm.
sunshines, it's going to rain.
But I feel like it's not just this specific show. You know, this is so indicative of
Life.
just as life and women.
Correct.
And like,
Absolutely.
and I was having all these like negative and sad feelings. And, you know, you guys supported me and, you know,
love
going
that,
out of my
Crystal.
boundaries
Mhm.
and pushing myself and feeling
Mhm.
uncomfortable. And, you know, I got to the other end of the rainbow yesterday and I
Yeah.
feel so happy that I did it. And I know it sounds like small to people and whatever, but it was
No.
a big deal for me.
No, for
and,
sure.
And this will
For
only
sure.
be cumulative now because I
Yeah.
think the first step out of it is the hardest.
yeah.
And then you're just like, and then what happens is like for someone like me that's sort of 3-4 years out of it, you look back and now you just think, oh, that was a great time in my
That
life.
was a
But
great
you
time.
know, the grief grows smaller over it. You don't ever forget. You still every once in a while think, God, I wish I were a housewife again. But then
Right.
it's
Yeah.
fleeting.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Because you start to build your life
Yeah.
all around it.
Absolutely.
But that's the beauty of the show is that obviously you find, you know, your sisterhood and your people, but you learn so many lessons that you never think because on the surface, the show is so kind of silly and crazy and whatever. But actually, there's so much depth that comes out of it.
Absolutely.
So much joy and lessons and pain. And I mean, I've literally, I feel like I've lived 30 years in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah.
much has happened, but also extreme emotions through it. You know, I'm not really high emotion person like that. I'm pretty steady. This has really pushed me to my limits. And I realize that I can handle a lot more than I gave myself credit for.
Well, it does
Yeah.
push you to growth. There's no doubt
It
about
does.
that.
I think we all have come out on the other side of housewives just stronger and just more resilient. But I think the mistake that some of us can make is feeling like it validates us. It does not have
right.
to validate us. We are, you know, we had lives before the show. And I always say this to Andy, you know, I was Cynthia Bailey before the show. I'm Cynthia Bailey on the show.
Correct.
And I'll be Cynthia Bailey after the show.
That's
So
it.
you just have to keep going and keep reinventing yourself and doing the things that you want to do. It's just a beautiful page in a book.
That's it.
And then you can go back, you know, if it's God's will and if it's supposed to happen, then you go back and maybe you get it. It becomes another chapter, but you don't stop.
No.
But it's amazing. Like you know how many women that would love to be a housewife of any of these franchises,
it.
and that we are a selective few that were chosen. We are the chosen ones that were given the opportunity to be on the show for however long we were on the show, and that is something that we should be proud of ourselves. You know how many people that want, how many women
I
that
know.
want our
And
slots?
I think that we were on it at the perfect time. I mean,
I
I'm
agree.
not, maybe I'm biased, but I do think it was a different era.
Well, your show was perfect.
It was like, it was
It's
less
my favorite.
manufactured.
It was a different era.
It was like, you know, we didn't get so stressed, you know, it wasn't so
Yours was a
stressed out.
perfect
Wow.
era.
Wow. And we kind of like came out of it with bumps and bruises, but we healed pretty quickly.
And we were
from it.
writing in the blueprint. Like
Yeah,
we didn't
that's
know.
it.
There was no blueprint before us. We were like literally making this shit up as we went along.
That's
like,
true.
okay. And now everyone that came after us, there is actually like a blueprint to some degree.
Well, they have PR people, they have
Yeah,
stylists,
it's like
they
a
have
whole
makeup
thing.
artists.
We're like the hot ass
I mean, I remember
mess.
Chris DeRosa said the other day, they were micing me. I was laying on my bed watching Law and Order, and they put the lights on. He goes, "Can you do me a favor? Can you at least brush the back of your hair? I know, I know you're not going to put makeup on because it's an in-house
No.
scene, but can you at least brush the
Listen.
back of your hair?" I'm like, all right. So, you know, I brushed it because it was just a different
Yeah.
sort of filming.
It really,
Yeah.
really was.
I'm like, why would I put makeup on in my apartment?
right.
Like, that's just stupid.
We're in full glam in the house.
It's true.
Full glam.
Well, I'm going to go because I have to get back to
Yeah,
my,
I know. I think we've been talking for like 2 hours now.
For
How
my
long
pe-
have we been talking?
Oh my God, stop.
yeah,
Okay.
because I got to get back to the hotel and meet the girls. But I wanted to make sure I stopped by. And I want to say I appreciate you guys so much for having me. I
We
really
love
do.
you
I adore you both.
and
Thank
support
you.
you.
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're strong and beautiful, both of you.
Thank you.
And I love the fact that I have this sisterhood. You know,
You
women are
do.
very important to me in the
Yes.
structure of
Absolutely.
my life. And I always call it my quilt of life,
That's right.
you know?
Well, you're an icon.
Wow, I don't know about that.
and
but-
it's so nice to love and be friends with
Mhm.
someone that you think is an icon.
Well,
It's a
thank
No,
very
you.
special
You
thing.
are a real one.
Well,
yeah.
thank you.
So thank
100%.
you.
Thank you for coming.
And thank you, humble braggers.
Thank
we
you.
love
Yes,
you.
we love you
Braggers,
guys.
for tuning in. I
You're the
love that. I feel
best.
so honored. Third guest. Wow.
I know. I know. That's only because we couldn't get you before.
I think we
You were
should have a
booked and
little
busy.
we should have a little jingle for you. Humble brag, come around, humble brag.
That's it. It's recorded. It's done.